Number 5, this is probably the most important one. Do what you like. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, do it in a business that gets you excited. Why? Because you're going to be working long and hard hours. I mean, you're going to be spending a lot of time in this business. And you're going to put stress on your family and social life. I mean, if you're married, if you're dating somebody seriously, what's going to happen? What comes first? Business is going to come first. You're going to disappear. When you ever talk to entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, they always talk about how wonderful their spouse was, how understanding. You know, usually also talk about the fact that guy last night was great. He was talking about his business, and he said we were up to $1 million a month profit in his back pocket. He was making $12 million a year, bought a nice beach house in Newport Beach, California, which happened to be 2 down from where I lived. That's a good place. Nice. And what happened? He married a younger woman, an OC, she got pregnant. She was 9 months pregnant, and the business went under. Because the government changed the rule in the mortgage business, and he could no longer sell what it was he was selling. Again, it happens. So what happened? All of a sudden, his spouse, 9 months pregnant, used to living on the beach in a nice mansion in Newport Beach, California, on $12 million a year, is now down to nothing. They're trying to sell the house. The market was down. They couldn't get rid of it. And they're looking for an apartment someplace. And she stayed with him. So you appreciate things like that, because as an entrepreneur, you might disappear for 80 hours a week, 7 days a week. You might be traveling around the world trying to find customers, make things happen, and you're not going to be there. So if you're going to do that, you're going to put stress on your family. It's always nice afterwards when the business is going well, you got lots of money, then everything comes out. But you know, this is something you're going to get up every single day and spend the main part of your brain thinking about, working about. So it better be something you enjoy doing. Life is too short to sit there and say, oh, I'm going to go do this and make a lot of money in 5 years and get out. It has happened, but it's very unlikely it's going to happen. More likely you're going to work a hell of a lot here. And it's amazing what people get excited about. Talk to entrepreneurs, and they'll talk about their industry. I have a buddy who's in the scrap metal business. He can talk for 5 hours without taking a deep breath about copper, nickel, steel. You know, he loves it. And that's what he does, 8 hours a day. You know, whatever it is. You know, whatever gets going on. The other thing is, you know, successful entrepreneurs do not do it for the money. They do it because they like it. Money is the byproduct. All right? Money is the byproduct if you're doing well. And the other thing you see is serial entrepreneurs have a tendency to invest what they made back into starting a company. What happens all the time? Serial entrepreneurs want to get back into business because they like doing it. So they make money from their first company, they sell off the company. What do they do with all that money? You or I might say, oh, let's put it in the bank. Professor Cullinane would put it in the stock market and watch it disappear.
You're right.
You know, try to hide it. What is a serial entrepreneur going to do? Oh, good, I got money to invest and I'm going to put it into another business. And what happens? That business tanks, and they go, so what? Now I'm going to start my third business. And then the third business hits and they make a bunch of money, and they sell that off, and then they do what? Take that money and put it into a fourth business. And that may or may not tank. If it goes, then he has twice as much money. But people do this, why? Because that's what they love doing, and that's what you should think about. So find out what industry gets you excited, what technology gets you excited, because then you're just going to enjoy being in that industry, making money as a byproduct. So every day you need to get up and face the challenges. If you're tired of the business, you will not perform. So pick an industry you like and you want to keep learning about it. And you can figure out how to make money in any business. Remember that. You can figure out how to make money in any business. Well, take a simple thing, landscaping. I mean, really, take a simple business, landscaping. What's the typical thing you do when you're in high school? You take your parents' lawnmower, you go out, you cut a couple lawns, you make a little bit of money for yourself, you micro square. Well then, if you're interested in landscaping, what do? People know you do a good job, you get more customers, you go out and hire a few people because you got to meet these other customers' needs. And you can pay these people and you make more money. Now, how would you grow that business? Well, you start offering other services. You do sodding, you do plowing, you do brickwork, you do tarring. You make yourself a nice small business. How do you make yourself into a growth venture? You can take landscaping and become an international business of multi-billion dollars in size. So it doesn't matter what the industry is, you can figure out a way to make money on it and do well. And in fact, any business you can either do as an employer or as a non-employer. You can do manufacturing. There's any business is open to, any industry is open to you, either as doing it by yourself or doing it by hiring people. You see that wholesale, retail, and transportation, more than likely you're going to have to be an employer. In accommodation and food, more than likely you're going to be an employer. But they're one-person bars, they're one-person stores, they're one-person restaurants. It's what you want to do. Do you want to manage? Do you want to grow it? You can do whatever. So here are the 5 steps. Get a job, don't hire, don't raise money, don't start with a plan, and do what you like. So that's my presentation. Questions?
What about intellectual property?
Intellectual property depends on the industry. If you have intellectual property, obviously, in most industries you try to protect it. There are lots of industries, they don't even patent. It's not worth it. What you'd like to do is keep it as a trade secret. That's number 1, like Coke. Coca-Cola. That's a trade secret. They're never patent that because then they have to let the world know what the formula is. And if you have intellectual property in a technology, let's say a technology-based business, then you can be a coordinator. You can do whatever you want. But but if you develop intellectual property, a lot of people think that somehow a big company is going to license it from you and you're just going to make money that way. It's very unlikely to happen. The number 1 way licenses go is somebody goes with it. Because it actually costs a company almost as much money to in-license a technology as it is to develop it themselves. So unless you have something that's so wonderful that nobody else has, you get into a complicated area. So if you have intellectual property, start a business around it, patent it, protect it for yourself, but you're going to have to develop the business, more than likely. Okay, thank you very much.